Welcome back to another video. I hope you're doing well. So today I'm just going to be telling you a little story on my adventure out to the Great Smokies, Western North Carolina mountains on the Blue Ridge area, and I just tell you about my experience. So it started off with me and Caleb. We're going out there, we're driving along, we hit Pigeon Forge. I'd never been there before, and we just drive through, and that place is like pretty interesting. It's like a big amusement park town, if that makes sense. Like everything just has like mini golf, a super cool diner that I saw. So if you've never been to Pigeon Forge, it's basically like Roller Coaster Tycoon. If you have played that game or have heard about it, it's basically that just in a town. It's pretty weird. I was like, why is everything all like adventure style, like roller coasters, mini golf, and just all this other stuff? It was kind of cool though. It felt like a small Disneyland in a way. After we drove through Pigeon Forge, we ended up going straight through the Smoky Mountains, just drove all the way through, which took a while because people were driving super slow and it was foggy, but oh well. We ended up at our first location, which was Mingo Falls, and if you guys have seen it before, it's beautiful. It's a super short hike. It's just stairs all the way up, so that part sucks, but once you're there, it's super nice. It's super relaxing. Me and Caleb got there at the best time possible. It was like a break from when there was like no one there for like a good 5 minutes. So after that first shot, there was probably about 15 people there. Once I got back to the bridge where you're supposed to be, I kind of like went underneath it and just like went out a little bit to get the shot that I wanted. Once all those people came, it was kind of difficult to keep shooting there just because we had to like get different angles, and I wanted to get up more, but also it's pretty heavy flowing water because there was a storm like 2 days beforehand or the day before. So the water is pretty rough and I didn't want to get in that because obviously kind of dangerous doing that. So after Mingo Falls, we ended up driving to the parkway and we just had to get some service real fast, and we actually stopped at this great super cool overlook. And after that overlook spot, we ended up going to get some pizza at this cool little joint. I forget what it's called, but it's like 20 minutes outside of Asheville, nothing too far. It wasn't that crazy, but the pizza was alright. I mean, it's nothing crazy, it wasn't delicious, but it was good for the time being because I was hungry at that time. So we went there, had some pizza, had a couple beers, but the drive to the sunset location, the GPS just made it so off. Like it took us to these back roads and it was like, take this road down this neighborhood, go this back road. And after driving those back roads, we ended up in Pixel National Forest, which is where the GPS took us the second time I put it in because the coordinates gave me the wrong spot at first, so that made us miss sunset, which sucks, but we're trying to get through the Pixel National Forest road. It's all dirt, a lot of potholes and everything. It kind of reminded me of being back home in Humboldt because those are the type of roads that I love and I just love cruising on and just like driving on because they're fun. But for the longest time, it wasn't going uphill, it was just like flat for a little bit, and then towards the end, it just kind of like shot us up, and so we had to go on there, and that led us to the parkway. But we did end up missing sunset, so we ended up at this one campground because our next location was going to be at this place called, you're not going to believe it, Frying Pan, which is super dope. Like, it's such a cool name. Oh, the battery died on me, that sucks. Let's see. So I ended up not really filming anything out on the top of the Firewatch just because, one, I was waiting for the fog to clear to get the shot, which it never did. I got like one shot where the fog kind of like rolled and it had like a peak from the sun, and then like the fog was rolling and you had a little bit of the mountain range in the background, but it just wasn't good enough. That was probably the most it cleared up, so that part sucked. But I did end up getting this one shot with Caleb in the corner of the walkway with like the building on the left side and just like the view, I guess, it's just all clouded over. And I just wanted to show how cloudy it really was. And yeah, we actually met a couple cool people there. There's like a group of 7, I want to say, 6 or 7. And then there's a group of 3 guys and they were all chill. Everybody was pretty chill. And while we're up there, one of them told us about this one place called Max Patch, which I've never heard of. Same with Caleb, we both never heard of it. And we ended up going there for sunset, but more on that in a little bit. And so that was it for the Firewatch Frying Pan, Firewatch Tower location. Super cool. On the way down though, we did find this cool little location. I made an Instagram reel. Let's play that real fast. Put your head on my... And it was like a super cool foggy vibe, and it just felt super cool going down, and I just love the fog. Like, fog is one of my favorite things, even though it does suck being in it at times, but shooting in it is amazing. Like, I used to hate fog when I was younger. I was like, why is it foggy? Because I used to skate. I didn't like take photos or anything. I just got on a skate. I'm like, dude, I don't like this fog. And so now I'm like, let's be in the fog. Let's go to the fog. Let's make it happen. Let's go to the fog. So after that whole experience at Frying Pan Firewatch Tower, we ended up going to this cool lookout spot to have some breakfast. And honestly, it's probably one of my favorite places I've had breakfast on the road yet. My very first time I've had breakfast on the road, just to go totally off the story really fast, was in Point Reyes, north of San Francisco. And we made hot dogs, me and my friend Ian, we made hot dogs on the side of the road because we were hungry. So yeah, just a little side story for you guys. I wanted to share that because one, it's a funny story, and two, it kind of just relates to what I was just talking about, having breakfast, and it just popped in my mind really fast. Anyways, going off the topic. And while we were making breakfast, all the fog cleared up, and it just looked so amazing with the lighting hitting the trees and mountains and stuff in the background. It just felt so cool and looked amazing. And it was just like kind of a vibe, just chilling there, making breakfast, hanging out. So after having breakfast at that lookout view, we ended up going to Soco Falls, which was pretty busy when we got there. It was kind of hard to find a parking spot, but thankfully when we pulled up, people were starting to leave, so it was kind of like a blessing in disguise of people was leaving, able to find spots, because when we were going down there, everybody was coming back up, and it kind of like the same thing that happened at Mingo Falls. There was no one there. We caught a break when it was just us, and then a flood of people came in. At Soco Falls, it was pretty muddy, like surprisingly pretty muddy. I ended up wearing my Vans down there, and it was kind of a mistake because I wanted to get close to the water. So as soon as we got down there and I saw how muddy it was, I just booked it back up the trail really fast, got my hiking boots, and went back down. And on the way down, that's when the flood of people started coming in. So I kind of just like tried my fastest to get by everyone as quick as I can and get down so I can get the shots I wanted before the location got covered with people and it was just gonna be hard to shoot. And then after we hit Soco Falls, we ended up going to Max Patch for sunset. We were there, I want to say at 4 o'clock, I want to say. We got there around 4 o'clock. And when we hiked up, we wanted to check it out first because it was still pretty bright and hot out. We went up, checked it out, hung out there for a little bit, and we were going to go to this other spot. I forget what the other location was, but we decided there's no point driving an hour there, hang out there for probably about 30-ish minutes, and then drive an hour back. We just decided to stay there, grab our stuff from the car, go up, hang out, have a couple drinks, eat some food, and just chill till sunset. And that is when it got crazy. While we were sitting there for sunset, the clouds started coming in, like gloomy clouds, like the clouds you don't want. But there was a break in the horizon where the clouds were and the horizon was, and I was like, okay, we're gonna get something good at least, just because these clouds are moving pretty fast towards us. And so during that time, I was like, this is not gonna be a spot for a 17 to 40 because that's like my go-to lens for landscape photos. So I pulled out my 70-200, captured some beautiful shots, probably my best shots on this trip. I ended up capturing this shot with Kaleb in the foreground and just like having him blurry and having the layers in the background and focus. And this whole mountain range has like 360 view of mountains. Like, it's crazy. You just have to see it for yourself, but all around you is just mountain views. It's pretty cool. I ended up capturing this panorama. This panorama shot has to be one of my favorite panorama shots I've taken yet. And this one is definitely gonna be ordered and hung up in my house on metal print because it deserves it. I truly feel like it deserves it, but you guys will see that in probably, I want to say 4-ish months. So once that comes out and gets hung up, I will be showing you guys that. But Max Patch was a huge vibe. We ended up chilling there for like, I think it was like 5 hours after we got there around 4 o'clock. We just hung out there, like I said. And after we got done shooting sunset, we were walking back towards the trail and we ended up seeing the people that we saw at Frying Pan, and they told us they were going to go, but we didn't see them at first. And I guess they got there kind of late, I don't know. But they were standing like next to the beginning of the trail going back down. And one of the guys, because he wasn't in that group, I guess he was talking to some other people down the way a little bit. But he came back and then he just like yelled Caleb's name. He's like, Caleb's films! And then it was funny. And so that was a really funny moment in the trip and after sunset. And we ended up getting in our cars, going down the road some more on the Pixel National Forest Road. We ended up going to this one location that we went to the first time back in October, this one camping site that we went to, just like that area. And we camped there. So we got up at 7:30. I shot some content for Silk Bag. It's like this big sleeping bag thing that you could like walk in and stuff. It's really cool. And here's the shots that I got. I also made a reel that's right here. You can see that it's nothing too crazy. They just wanted some content for the product. I was like, I'm going on this trip, it'd be easy to do. So after we shot the product stuff for Silk Bag, we ended up going to this one diner called Janice's Diner. Super cheap. It was like $6 for a whole meal, which is insane. That's like the cheapest I've seen it in like years, which is kind of crazy because everything's going up in price, but this place was so cheap. Like we literally spent probably about $21 after tax, and that's combined. $21 combined for a whole meal, or for 2 people for like a big meal. And honestly, it was pretty good too. It was like super comfy, super warm. It's just like, it was cozy in there. It was like a cozy restaurant, which is pretty rare these days. And then after that, we ended up going to this one trail in Gatlinburg. I forget what it's called, but when we were driving through, there was like so many people there, like it was packed. When I say packed, like people were literally parking on the road and you had to like go in the ditch to get out of it. Like half your car had to like go on the ditch side and get back onto the road, and it was just a mess. There was too many people there. And then the one trail we were for sure gonna hit, I think it was Grotto Falls, one of those two, ended up not going because 1, it was packed like I said, and 2, we just couldn't find a place to park. But overall, it was a really fun trip. I had a blast driving these dirt roads, driving on all these turns and stuff. Really fun, and exploring these new locations because I've only been out there twice before this, but I never stopped at any of these locations that we stopped at this trip. So it was fun finding these new places and checking them out. And yeah, that's basically the whole trip. I hope you guys like this little story. If you want more of my little photography adventures that I go on, kind of like stories like this, let me know. I would love to do more on what went behind a photo and what happened, and tell you guys like a story on what happened and how it went down and everything like that. So without further ado, if you liked it, leave a like, comment down below, and also follow me on Instagram, TikTok, all my social media, so down below. And be sure to subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.